Scientific research at the University of Southern California is being conducted on a grand scale to generate discoveries that will change society. One office at USC, the Office of Research and Innovation, is responsible for overseeing and supporting research and innovation across the university. One man, Dr. Ishwar Puri, known as Ish, leads this office. Ish has made it his mission to get to know each of these scientists personally and to understand their work. He accomplishes this by simply having conversations over coffee. These conversations have become known as Coffee with Ish.
Who's Yolanda Gill? What are her dreams and aspirations?
I'm very passionate about AI and the quest to understand intelligence. AI is going to change every job, every discipline, and sometimes without really us noticing.
So AI is a term that's existed for a long time, and I think it's gone through different phases. And the most recent sort of version of AI, I think, was based on this explosion of data.
So the Center for Generative AI in Society was created last spring by Carol Folt. The initiative right now brings together Annenberg and the School of Cinematic Arts, designed really to think about AI as it corresponds to storytelling. So journalists and people in media working together with filmmakers and screenwriters.
So we've got journalists who are experimenting with what does it mean to automatically try to generate stories.
Well, I've been doing work in virtual reality since 1995 when I first came to USC. Now, when you talk about AI, that really is a computational process where it's taking large amounts of information and developing ways to, I don't want to say think about that information, but mine the data to look for patterns. It's its own technology, but it's also an enabling technology that we can use in VR.
So today, with the explosion of large language models and deep learning and so on, people have almost started to equate the word AI with machine learning. But AI actually spans not only predictive models but also decision models. How do we allocate resources in the most effective way possible?
So what is intelligence? I mean, does intelligence change? Is intelligence static?
Intelligence may involve demonstrating creativity and thinking differently in the face of a problem.
The Institute for Creative Technologies was originally funded as an Army UARC, a university-affiliated research center. In some sense, we're sort of like the unholy alliance between Hollywood, the military, and academia. Three completely different cultures, but we all get along, and we bring to bear special effects from Hollywood or narrative storytelling, along with the science of developing simulations or multimedia applications, and within an academic context. So we design things, we develop things, and we do the science.
The Center for AI in Society is what brought me to USC. What's really unique about it is that it's a genuine equal partnership between the School of Engineering and the School of Social Work. It's really bringing faculty and researchers, students from these diverse areas to come together to try to work on problems where we can leverage data-driven solutions, AI-driven solutions to address some of the most challenging questions, and in particular focus on problems that can benefit the most vulnerable and disadvantaged.
What is AI? It's artificial, right?
At the beginning, it was a discipline of concepts and understanding and algorithms and how does a human think? Can we imitate that kind of thinking?
BraveMind was a project that we started around 2003 when we started to see that the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan were starting to look really problematic in terms of the mental health repercussions of service members and veterans. We had access within this center to the types of content that would give us a head start in building virtual worlds that represented Iraq and Afghanistan and so forth. Then we were able to test them out with people that had PTSD that had not benefited from the traditional evidence-based approach. So remarkably, we got really good data, and we showed good clinical outcomes that were statistically significant.
My hope is that all of this investigation into AI will help us become better humans. I think scientists are always surprised about the kinds of things that AI can do for them.
These experimental tools sort of have gotten out of labs and sort of industrial spaces where they were secrets and prototypes for a while, but they've exploded into this generative AI phase. And the big difference, I think, between predictive AI and generative AI is that generative AI is going to make media. And these things that are made they're not coming from nowhere. They're coming from these data sets that have existed for a long time. It's also a critical moment because we have to now ask, where did that data come from? Who made that data?
I think the more we demand AI systems to be responsible, to be fair, the more we have to question, are humans fair?
So the center is really focused on trying to work very closely with organizations focused on homelessness to try to leverage AI-driven techniques to improve the resource allocation in order to serve the homeless population. What they're doing is they're looking at using machine learning models in order to inform the prioritization of homeless individuals that come into the system looking for a shelter. And so what they're developing is using historical data in order to understand the problems, understand what data is relevant, and understand what solutions will actually make a difference in the field.
But that's what this coffee series is about. Talking to thought leaders who are actually changing the world. So tell us, how are you changing the world?
Every job in the last 30 years since I've been in this university has changed. We do a lot of work on neuroscience, we do a lot of work on climate. I never pass up an opportunity to learn something, and I never pass up an opportunity to share something that I've learned with somebody. I love being in a university where that conversation is active and is renewed every day.
I mean, USC has a great reputation, and we have great people.
So my work is supported by grants, and without the Office of Research, those grants, would not operate. So I'm always relying on them to help me apply for grants, manage grants, report on grants. There's also been, a lot of useful information in terms of opportunities that comes from the Office of Research.
Our two schools, Annenberg and SCA, both are incredible places. And I think one of the things that we're hoping to do with the center is to bring these communities who have so much at stake to the discussion. And we should be leading the conversation about how AI is used.
What it does when you work in this field is it necessarily fosters an interdisciplinary collaboration. And this is one of the missions at USC, is to kind of break down the silos, to get people from different disciplines. Artificial intelligence, no matter whether we like it or not, is going to have a significant impact on how we live, how we learn, how we interact with each other.
Especially with our students leaving our university and our programs, being able to go out into the world and say, no, we're not going to rewrite a script that was generated by ChatGPT. Absolutely not. So I think that's really important to create the next generation thought leaders who really understand this at a foundational level.